This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me having a little bit of a jam, one take, warts and all, using the A minor pentatonic, all the different box patterns that, go up and down the neck that you can daisy chain together. Done many videos on that. Thing is though, whilst I was playing over it as though it was in the key of A minor, because I was using A minor pentatonic, actually the chord sequence I was playing over is in the key of G. So what's going on there then? Well, you see, this is pertinent to today's question because today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays I deal with viewers' questions. If you have any questions of a guitar or music related nature, then get in touch. You can see the website address at the top of the screen, and the link is in the description. Use the contact form there, get in touch, or you can use my email address, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and who knows, your question might be featured in one of these videos. One chap who did get in touch was Sam, and this was his question.
Hi John, can you settle an argument for me? The band I play in does a couple of original tunes. One of them has these chords for the verse: A minor, G, D times 2, then E minor to D to G to D. Our keyboard player tells me it's in the key of G, but it sounds more like it's in A minor to me. That's how I play over it with A minor licks, and it sounds fine. Why does my bandmate insist that it's in the key of G when A minor just sounds right? Confused. Sam.
So, that chord sequence that Sam mentions is the one that I based the jam track on at the beginning of the video. Is it in the key of A minor or is it in the key of G? What's going on? Why, if it is in the key of G, why does it sound good playing over it in A minor? Well, here's the explanation.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, the source of confusion here is the rather vague way that many musicians, not just guitar players, will use the word key. There's basically a couple of different ways that it can be used, and that is, as I say, the source of the confusion here. Let's have a look at the strict musical definition of what a key is, and then we'll have a look at how else the word can be used. To say something is in the key of G major means that all of the notes in the melodies and lead guitar parts and all of the chords that are being used all use notes from the G major scale, which goes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back to G again. And all of the chords, all of the notes, everything that's going on in the piece of music, if it's in the key of G major, will be using just those notes, will be made of some combination of those 7 notes. And how can you find out what key you're in? Well, here's the way that I first figured it out way back when I was, about that tall, if ever I was that tall. But basically, it's if you do this little kind of 3-chord trick thing, the 1-4-5 move, where you play this bar chord shape, stay at the same fret, go to this bar chord, and move that up 2 frets, you get 3 major chords, G, C, and D in this case. And those are the 3 major chords in the key of G. What about minor chords then? Well, each one of those major chords has a relative minor, and you find your relative minor simply by moving that major chord down 1, 2, 3 frets and turning it into a minor chord. So move G down 1, 2, 3 frets, it becomes an E, make it minor, you've got an E minor. So the relative minor of the G chord is E minor. Take the C chord, move it down 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, that becomes an A, make it minor, you've got A minor. That's the relative minor of the C chord. The D chord, which was the third of the major chords that was in there that we got, move that down 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, becomes a B, make it into a minor, becomes a B minor. So you've effectively got G, C and D, E minor, A minor and B minor. Those are the 6 main chords in the key of G. There's one other one, like a half diminished thing, but we're not going to worry about that for now because compared to major and minor chords, it doesn't get used anywhere near as often, so it's not likely to be something that you're looking at in a chord sequence when you're figuring out what key something's in. But for the record, those 6 chords there, the 3 majors and the 3 minors, just take the root note of the key that you're in, so that's G, go down 1 fret to F sharp, and you get a half diminished based on that note as well. But as I say, we're not going to spend too much time on that. So, if we look at the chords in this little chord sequence that Sam mentioned, we've got A minor, G, and D, twice through that, and then an E minor to D, to G, to D, and then it cycles back round onto the A minor again. So, what were those chords in the key of G? We had G, C, D, E minor, A minor, B minor. So it's fair to say that, the chords in that little piece of music were A minor, G and D and an E minor in there as well. All of those chords are in the key of G major. And I can go even further and say that there is no other key where you will find all of those chords happening together. Each of those chords will occur in other keys individually, but there's only one key, if you think like a Venn diagram, where they will occur together. So that piece of music is indeed in the key of G major. So why does it sound resolved and like, like it belongs in A minor? Why do A minor licks like the ones I was playing earlier? Why does it work if you solo over it in A minor? Because this comes to the other frequently used definition of the word key, and what most people mean when they talk about a key is tonality. Every piece of music will usually have, unless you're kind of talking about some weird avant-garde atonal thing, will have a tonality, and a tonality is a chord that that provides the musical centre of gravity for a piece of music. And it's often assumed that that chord will be the same as the tonic chord of the key, in this case G major, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, any one of those chords in the key of G major, so remember we had G, C and D, E minor, A minor and B minor, you can engineer, you can write, you can construct a chord sequence in such a way that any one of those chords can be the chord which is sort of in the limelight, the star of the show, with all the other chords acting as a supporting cast. Or maybe think of it as like that's the chord that everything else is in orbit around. All roads lead back to that one particular chord. And as I say, it doesn't have to be the chord that is the same as the key in this case, or the tonic chord as we call it, the G major chord in the key of G. What we've got here is a chord sequence where all of the chords come from the key of G major. That is the only key where all of those chords will coexist. But A minor, which is one of the chords in the key of G major, is the chord which is acting as the sort of the musical centre of attention, the musical centre of gravity, the tonality, as we call it. And the easy way to find the tonality is just play through a chord sequence and, just try a bunch of different chords on the end of it. And which one sounds the most resolved, the most kind of settled, which one does it sound good ending on, basically. And if I play through this, you can hear that it sounds perfectly happy ending on the A minor. That doesn't sound like you're left kind of hanging in midair and wanting it to resolve somewhere else and move on somewhere. The A minor acts as the tonality in this chord sequence, but the key is G major. So this is, people often, as I say, use the word tonality when they mean key. Strictly speaking, it is in the key of G major, but most people would describe it as having an A minor tonality and therefore talk about it being in the key of A minor. As I say, it's just one of those things which can cause confusion, but it's as long as you just understand that the one chord, the tonic chord in the key, doesn't have to be where everything sort of resolves back to, and and kind of sounds like home. That's the home chord. It doesn't have to be that chord there. Then it's a fairly simple idea to get your head around. And this sort of kind of contradiction between it's in this key but that chord is the tonality, is where the whole business of modes kind of lives. But I'm not going to go into that now, because I've done a bunch of different videos on the topic of modes, and if there's one surefire way to cut your viewing figures in half for any YouTube video, it's put either the word jazz or modes into the video's title. So we're not going to go there today. Go and search out some of my other videos if you're interested in that stuff. So there you go. That is what's going on. Both parties were right. It's in the key of G, but A minor is also kind of a way that you can describe the tonality of this piece of music. There you go. So there you have it. There is, as usual, a full tab for the solo that we kicked off the video with. Solos in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats. You also get the clip of me playing the solo, that explanation you've just seen there, and the jam track that I made based upon Sam's chord sequence that he put in the email. All of that is up on my Patreon page as usual. There's the address, link in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and whatever else crops up. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.